Another one, yes. So today is the day of TVTs, as we have not seen any really this season so far. At least, obviously they've happened, but we just haven't broadcast them. And I swear it's not because we don't like them. I promise. But representing Rebirth, it is going to be Soldier, and representing We Want to Win Clan, it's going to be Marcus, a.k.a. Whitechapel. And we do have bios for those. Game number 4. Soldier is one of the top 3 Terrans in Chile. One of the players who achieved GM last season and did not secure a spot on the Chile national team. He played in Copa America 2014, losing to Ruff after some intense games. And his opponent, Marcus, I'm going to assume Whitechapel is a sub-account of Marcus. Because I have not been told otherwise. His name is Merrick. He's 23 years old, and he has a 63% win rate.
All right. There we go. One player has a win rate, the other one doesn't.
Well, see, that's in absence of any other information. Just put that in there. But jumping on into game number 4, it is going to be on Blood Mist. I have not set the score yet, so don't worry about that. I'll get that in a second. In the lower right-hand corner, representing We Want to Win Clan, it is the Terran Whitechapel.
And in the top left-hand corner, hailing from Chile, the yellow Terran known as Soldier Boy. Just Soldier, actually.
Yeah, the pictures from Rebirth were pretty epic, because every single one of those is definitely one that you just get the feeling that it goes with their name. Like, yeah, I know how you got that name.
Nice.
Looks like going to be no super crazy immediate cheese anyway out of either of these players.
Yeah, it's pretty uncommon in TVT. Our units aren't quite as broken as the Protoss ones, so we're not able to kill our opponent as quickly.
You say that, but we've seen so many times this season the proxy factory with the mines or Hellions, yes. Multiple times.
In TVT?
We haven't really seen any TVTs, but it was TV, everything else.
Not in TVT. Nobody proxies anything. It's basically what it is if you proxy something, you die to Banshees.
Yes.
That's probably the biggest reason that nobody really proxies anything. And also, like, the stuff that you would do in TVT, you want the add-ons for to make it fast enough. So it's like, if you're going to proxy your starport, you're probably also proxying your factory, in which case, like, you just have Marines at home defending whatever. Anyway...
so let's talk about openings here a little bit. Looks like Whitechapel had a later gas than Soldier, whereas Soldier put his down at least at the same time as the barracks, I think.
Yeah, so Soldier's going for Reaper opening, and we'll have to see if he's going to go for an early expand or go for a 2-base. And meanwhile, Whitechapel, this is a 13 gas. So 13 gas almost never... Oh, we just canceled his orbital.
Oh no, that was almost certainly a misclick.
That is unfortunate.
It's highly unfortunate.
It's basically going to put him about... I think it was far enough that it'll put him about an SCV behind, possibly 2, as well as, of course, the delayed income from not having the mules quite so early.
Yeah, Whitechapel now has had a mule out for a good 10-15 seconds and producing SCVs.
Right. We do see the mule drop, and the Reaper is going to come out here. This huge surface area on the main, lots of opportunities to jump in, and Soldier sees the factory, he sees 2 Marines. He should know exactly the timings that he has to deal with. What he wants to see is if there's a second gas. And that second gas will tell him everything. Boom, no second gas. He's going to try and get a little bit of damage here. Wants to be careful, though. Nope, he's going to sack the Reaper.
Almost,
no, yes,
maybe?
yes. No.
All right.
No, he doesn't.
The jury's in. He's not going to sacrifice the Reaper.
I was so sure he was going to.
Soldier here putting down a in-base expand with almost nothing behind it except those 2 Reapers. So is he just gonna the plan here to just keep Whitechapel busy and contained here and macro out behind it?
It's pretty standard to be in this position right now. His factory and reactor are a little bit delayed, but as long as he's careful with his units, he should be able to defend the subsequent timing. See that Whitechapel is going to go for what is basically a one-base Marine Hellion medevac elevator, trying to just get to his opponent's base, put as much stuff in his base as he can, do as much damage as he can, and Soldier's going to... It looks like he's going to try and defend it with just Marine Hellion. Get that starport. There we go. And he's actually getting an eBay. And I don't know why he's getting an eBay.
Early upgrades or turrets?
Well, the answer should be neither. Because you can't afford the upgrades at this point, and you don't need the turrets.
There should be neither, but we've seen, at least so far, we've seen some pretty, like you said, almost pre-reactively safe play from Terrans, like just a also sort of insta-turret just to detect mines, because apparently everyone's so terrified of mines these days.
Are you sure they're not terrified of Banshees?
It could be that too, but terrified of anything that apparently Terran will send their way.
Yeah.
The Marines are all loaded up in the medevac here of Whitechapel. Looks like he's just gonna kind of be running right up the gut here with this loaded up medevac. He could just walk, but I decided to take a slightly shorter path here, I suppose. But there's a mine out of Soldier. He is gonna get that burrowed. No, maybe he's... Yes, he will. No, yes.
He will. He's gonna just clean this up, no problem. And Whitechapel is in a... Wait. No, how did he... What happened?
A Hellion happened.
No, that's ridiculous. He cleans this up, no problem. Cleans this up with no problems.
Oh, that's a little.
Now he cleans this up with no problems, and Whitechapel is in a little bit of a, well, actually a significant disadvantage.
Yeah, he came in there with
his command center timing, and he really did not kill a lot of SCVs. So
he killed two.
Yeah, which is not a lot. Not enough to warrant that build.
Yeah, so now Soldier's going to be heading across the map with a drop of his own with 7 Marines in that medevac, a reactor coming down on the factory, as well as a second factory. So some mech play coming out of Whitechapel, which is going to leave him fairly, with pretty thin defense here.
And the Marines coming around the back here. He is going to see that starport with the tech lab. May fly into that turret, flies back a little bit. The units of Whitechapel coming out should be able to clean this up with the Banshee, no problem. But unfortunately for Whitechapel now, Soldier knows that there's a Banshee on the map, and he saw a cloak researching, so he should be able to put those turrets down with no problem and secure himself into a strong and healthy lead into the mid game. You can see he's up 9 workers, and that's really enough. This is not TVZ, this is not TVP. If you're down even a single worker in this mirror, you are behind in a lot of ways. And 10 workers here, that's the kind of disparity that Protoss needs in order to be even or slightly ahead. Right now, the longer this game goes, the more and more advantage Soldier is going to be.
Yeah, it looks like Whitechapel kept his command center in his base fairly long there. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that as far as whether that's a good idea or not?
I think...
Or just maybe he wasn't ready to defend it yet out at his natural, but
yeah,
I mean...
it's really just not I don't know. He needed... Given the build that he did, he needed to be more aggressive with his follow-up in order to minimize the amount that he was behind. So if you build it in the natural, then you have to kill like 1 or 2 less SCVs, because instead of having to float the command center to the natural, as soon as it's done, you're morphing it into an orbital, you get to build SCVs right away. And so little changes like that will help optimize the build, make sure that you're getting as much value as you can, and you have to do as little as possible to be ahead.
There's a Banshee coming in now from Whitechapel, but it is no secret to Soldier as he does kind of get on it. It does a scan to be able to shove it away in the back, as that turret was a little bit out of range there. But
there's like a year of dead space back there.
Yeah.
That Banshee can sit there forever and probably fly out whenever it wants. There's a lot of space in both directions. Meanwhile, Soldier just kind of losing some Marines, but they're getting healed. He's not really taking much damage from the Banshee. It's more annoying than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to keep Soldier busy with this for quite a while, but as you said, he is still a good bit ahead in the SCV count, and he has a third command center that is finished now, so he's going to be moving out with that. I mean, he's going to be quite a significant bit ahead here.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why the supplies are so even.
Plus, Blue Flame now is finishing up for Whitechapel, as well as +1 attack for his mech things. Tanks and Vikings coming out, while it's looking still like mostly bio, tank, medevac out of Soldier.
Yeah, and Soldier has a read on his opponent's composition. You can see he's already got 3 tech labs with 1 reactor, so he's perhaps missing a barracks here, but going very heavy on the Marauders in order to combat his opponent's mech composition. And meanwhile, Whitechapel moving out with a lot of Hellions here. Blue Flame is done. The armory is done. He can make those into Hellbats if he wants to. Takes a little bit of a fight. He doesn't want here. 2 tanks sieging up, and Soldier, both players scanning each other, trying to determine if this is the fight they want to take. Double Hunter Seekers dropping on the siege tanks. 1 siege tank going to go down. The other 2 weakened quite a bit here. Again, dropping the scans, and Soldier is just going to run around. He doesn't really want to take this fight. Gets baited into the tank shot a little bit. Third base going down for Soldier now.
Looks like he's continuing to produce Hellbats and more tanks.
Here we go, big fight coming in. The Hellbats doing a bit of damage, but Soldier just has a lot of supply and actually runs into the Hellbats, increasing the amount of damage they're doing by a significant amount. Needs a scan here to drop that Banshee. The Viking's going to go down. Banshee cleans up all the anti-air, and it looks like he's going to be able to pick off the rest of these units, and both players kind of trade down to nothing.
Yeah, they traded down to nothing, but Soldier has a... I mean, wow, okay, the SCV count is exactly even though Soldier has a whole extra base.
Right, and as soon as Soldier gets his saturation sorted out, he'll be at a very significant economic lead. If you look at his main and natural, he's significantly oversaturated at the moment, which is keeping their incomes a little closer than they need to be, but he's already going up to 12 SCVs at his third. That's going to give him a nice economic lead.
Soldier's putting a drop on in the natural expansion of Whitechapel. Turret does take out the medevac, but the units of Whitechapel are there to defend it pretty handily, not even really going to lose a whole lot, I don't think. And now Soldier is, it's like doing math in my head is hard, but over 12 SCVs ahead now, 65 to 48 is the count.
And that's...
So Soldier killed about 8 SCVs right there.
Yeah, and that puts him in a more comfortable lead, but not one that he needs at this point in the game. He already has a very significant lead as long as he just gets his production down and powers hard on those Marauder Marine medevac. Should put him in a good position, and at this point it looks like he's actually cutting SCVs. He's at full saturation that he wants, and that's going to mean his army value is going to jump up.
There's a 2 Hellbat drop coming into the main of Soldier. He does boost it in there. There is a turret, but the only one... Yeah, both Hellbats do make it out, but doing pretty significant damage there. But the Hellbats end up turning their attention towards the turret, unfortunately.
Yeah, the turret is not exactly what you want to kill, but in the process of attacking that turret, the Hellbats did kill a couple more SCVs. And meanwhile, both players moving around the map a little bit. Whitechapel going to secure his third. The medevac's flying into the Vikings. 1 medevac goes down immediately. Only 1 tank sieges right away. The Hellbat's not enough of a buffer. More tanks sieging now, and this is a pretty small choke point. Units from Soldier are getting funneled a little bit here, but there's just not quite enough from Whitechapel to hold off this attack. Soldier is pushing through. The third of Whitechapel is completely undefended now. More units coming from his main to try and defend here, but he is sieged in range of the third. That he has no choice but to lift it off if he wants to continue in this game.
Tried to retreat there a little bit, but the concussive shell of the Marauders really kind of got a few extra kills there for Soldier. But now he's just kind of stimming right up on this tank here with these Marauders. Almost a free kill on that, as the Hellbats were kind of dawdling there behind.
Soldier senses the blood. He is a shark, in the water. He goes for the kill. His opponent
there's the win.
did not GG.
No GG.
There's the not GG.
So, but with that is going to tie up the score once again. So that's a score of 2-2 after 4 games. A little bit longer TVT there, 18 minutes. But what was the strength of both players there, in your opinion?
This was another game that was pretty much decided in the opening, actually. The build that the 1-base 13 gas Mergenhellion elevator just did not give him the compensation he needed, and he was down too many workers going into the mid game there.
Good to game out of both, and kind of both TVTs we've seen sort of pure mech versus marine marauder medevac tank. What's your favorite? What do you favor of those?
Bio, just bio. I played
tanks?
around with mech for I'll make tanks, but like if I said tanks, then you might think I meant mech, so I just say bio. Not pure bio though. Generally against mech I'll play like bio tank, and when you play against other bio players you just go marine tank. And I don't know, I tried some mech for a while and it just wasn't working for me.
Did it make much of a difference when they combined the upgrades? As a not Terran player, I literally have no experience with that.
It kind of does, but not really, because the situations in which it's relevant don't often occur. It's like, okay, cool, now my sky transition at the 45-minute mark is stronger, but I will just kill you before then, because I'm not doing that.
Well, that, like we said, is going to leave us tied 2-2 after 4 games. 2 of those games were very quick. I believe we had a 5-minute and a 7-minute game, double gateway proxy there by the Protoss to beat the Zerg, and a sort of failed attempt at both players doing Oracle and a Stalker follow-up there to up 2 games pretty quick. The other 2 were TVTs, and they were pretty well balanced, actually. So after 4 games, we're basically left with a best of 3 here, going in our best of 7. So which will come out in front, we will soon see as we go into Game 5. But before we do,